our granny square tutorial, you can either start with a magic ring, if you know how to do that. If you don't, you can take a slip knot, chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then in your first chain, take a slip stitch. So take the yarn over and pull through the first loop and pull through the second loop. You will then see that in the center you have a small circle that you can work into. So whether or not you've done a magic ring or you've chained 5, you're going to start with a chain of 3. So 1, 2, 3, and that starts us off. Now the base of the granny square, we're going to be working with treble crochets. Now I use UK terminology. In US terminology, that's a double crochet. So for our treble, we're going to take the yarn over the hook, take it through the center of that circle, yarn over hook, pull through. You now have 3 loops on your crochet hook. We're going to take the yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. We're going to do that one more time. So yarn over into the center, yarn over, pull through. We should have 3 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. So we now should have a cluster of 1, 2, 3. We're now going to make our first corner, and to do that we're going to chain 2, 1, 2, and then we're going to take 3 trebles into our center. So yarn over, take that hook through, yarn over, pull up. We have 3 on our hook. Take our yarn over through 2 loops, yarn over through 2 loops. There's our first treble. We want 2 more. Yarn over into the center, yarn over, pull up, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, and we want 1 more. Yarn over into the center, yarn over, pull up, yarn over through 2 loops, yarn over through 2 loops. We then want to make another corner, so we chain 2, 1, 2. So we now have 2 clusters of 3, that's 2 sides of our square, and we have 2 corners. So we need to repeat that 2 more times. So 3 trebles, yarn over, pull through, yarn over through 2 loops, yarn over through 2 loops, number 1. Our second treble, and our third. Another corner, chain 2. So we have 3 sides now and 3 corners. So we want to complete our square by having 1 more cluster of 3 trebles. So 1, 2, 3, and our final corner we chain 2, 1, 2. Then you want to find the top stitch of your first chain 3, so 1, 2, 3, so that's here. So I'm going to take my hook through and slip stitch to join up. I'm going to tighten up by pulling on the end to bring that center in slightly. So hopefully there you can see you have your 4 corners and your 4 sides. So we now have the start of our granny square. So the next round, if you are changing colour, you can cut your yarn here, and then you can slip stitch to start your next colour in any corner, really is fine. If you're keeping the same colour, then you want to slip stitch over the next 2 trebles to come over to the next corner. I personally find that just makes it all a bit more seamless. So if you're starting a new colour or you're keeping the same, we're going to find a corner to slip stitch into, and we start with our chain of 3. 1, 2, 3. Then to make our cluster of 3, we want to make 2 trebles. So we have 1 treble, yarn over, through, yarn over, pull up, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. There's our first cluster of 3. Now we want to make another corner. My biggest tip with granny squares is when you are at a corner, you need to make another corner. So that's a good way to remember it. So we want to make a corner, we chain 2. We then need to make a cluster of 3 trebles. So yarn over, through, yarn over, pull through. Remember, we've got our 3 loops on our hook. Yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. And we want to do that 2 more times to make our cluster of 3. There we go. Now to move over to the next corner, we're going to chain 1. And then we are at our next corner. So remembering we're at a corner, so we want to make another corner. So our cluster of 3 trebles, 1, 2, and 3. We have our corner, so we chain 2, 1, 2. Then we yarn over and take another 3 trebles. So yarn over through 2 loops, yarn over through 2 loops. Second, yarn over, pull through, yarn over through 2 loops, yarn over through 2 loops, and our final treble. So then we have our next 2 corners and our first side, completed side here. So next we are moving up to the next corner, so we want to chain 1. And now we've come to a corner, so we want to make another corner. So we have our cluster of 3 trebles, 1, 2, and 3. Chain 2 for your corner, 1, 2, and then we want our next cluster of 3. And remember, with our treble, we should have 3 loops each time on our hook. And then we pull through 2 loops and pull through 2 loops. There's our first treble. Our second. And our third. So now we're moving over to our final corner. So we chain 1 and we make our cluster of 3. So 1, 2, and 3. And we make our corner by chaining 2. 1, 2, and our final cluster of 3. 1, 2, and 3. We chain 1 and we come to our first chain of 3. 1, 2, 3. We slip stitch into the top of that chain 3. So there you have your second round. So this time I'm going to show you how you would change colours. So I'm going to cut the yarn, pull that through, nice and tight. There we go. And I will bring a purple into the mix now. So taking any corner space, so remembering if you were keeping the same colour, you would slip stitch into the next 2 trebles and then slip stitch into the corner space. We're taking a new colour this time, so slip stitching. Oh, if I can get, there we go. Slip stitching that on, and no matter what you're doing, we are starting with our chain 3. 1, 2, 3. So we are at a corner, so remember we want to make a corner. So to start with, because we already have the 1 treble, that counts as your, sorry, we have your chain of 3, that counts as your first treble. So we only need to make 2 trebles to begin with. And then we have our corner, so we chain 2. We're in a corner, so we want to make a corner. And then we have our second set of treble cluster with 1, 2, and 3. Right, so this is the first time we're coming to a side space. So we want to chain 1, and we want 1 set of our treble cluster in the center here. So we take our 3 trebles, 1, 2, and 3. Then to come over to our corner space, we're going to chain 1. So we're at a corner, so we want to make another corner. So 3 trebles, yarn over through, yarn over, pull up, yarn over through 2 loops, yarn over through 2 loops, and 2 more times we take that treble, 1, 2, so there is our 3 trebles. We're at a corner, so we're making our corner by chaining 2, 1, 2, and we have another cluster of 3 trebles, 1, 2, and 3. So our next is a side space, so we chain 1 to make our way over to that side space, and we put a cluster of 3 trebles into that space. So 1 treble, 2, and 3. Chain 1 to come to our corner space. So at a corner we create another corner. So our 3 trebles, yarn over through, yarn over through 2 loops, yarn over through 2 loops. There is our first cluster of 3. So we make our corner by chaining 2, yarn over, pull through, yarn over through 2 loops, yarn over through 2 loops, and we make 2 more. Then we chain 1 to come over to our next space, which is a side space. So we just have the 1 cluster of 3 here. 1, 2, 3. Chain 1, and we are now at a corner space, so we want to make another corner in our corner. So we have 3, oh, there we go, 3 trebles, and we want to make our corner by chaining 2, 1, 2, and another cluster of 3 trebles, 1, 2, 3. Chain 1 to come to our next space, which is a side space. Let's bring pink yarn out the way, yarn over, and we want 3 trebles, so 1, 2, and 3. Chain 1 and come over to the top of your first chain 3 and slip stitch in. So hopefully you can see there how it's all coming together. I'm going to do one more round with you. I will speed up a little bit with my instructions just so we can go over the side spaces as well. I'm going to stick with the same colour. So I'm going to slip stitch over the next 2 trebles and into that first corner space. So if you are changing your colour yarn, slip stitch into the corner, and together we chain 3 with 2 trebles. Chain 2 for corner and 3 trebles. Chaining 1 to come to a side space. So our first side space here, we have 3 trebles. 1, 2, oh, losing my yarn, and 3. Now our next space is a side space, so we chain 1 and we take another 3 trebles into our side space, and this is how your granny square builds up. Chain 1 to our next space, which is a corner space, so we have our cluster of 3, chain 2 and cluster of 3. So each round that you have until your granny square is the size that you desire, every corner you come to, you will do 3 trebles, 2 chain and 3 trebles to make that corner space. To move along to your next space, you always chain 1, and on your side spaces you always have 1 cluster of 3 trebles. So it's a lovely repetitive pattern. It's personally my favourite. I find that you can really switch off with this once you get into the swing of things. And it's just a few stitches that you need to be familiar with. And it works up really nicely. And it's a really effective pattern because you have some lovely yarn out there that will naturally flow from different colours and can create a really beautiful granny square. Or you can get really creative and buy a few different colours that work well together and create your own design with your granny square. Or like me, if it's for a child, I always ask my girls to pick. They always pick the colours of what they want me to make them. So we come up with some really fun designs that way. So this is the last corner. So 3 trebles, corner of chaining 2, 3 trebles, chain 1 to a side space, and now it is our last side space here, and our granny square should be looking beautiful. So let's chain 1 and slip stitch into the top of that first chain 3. And if I can fit that in there, might zoom out a little bit, make sure you can see there, our granny square has come together really nicely. So as I say, points to remember, every corner it's 3 trebles, 2 chain 3 trebles. Every time you move across to a space you chain 1, and in each side space it's the 3 trebles. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you have found this a useful tutorial. Happy crocheting!